Okay, this is part two of New to Me RV, and of course it's winter time, so I'm doing 914 projects, and this is part two of me cleaning out the carburetor, one of the carburetors on my 914, a carburetor kit, and we just got one. We just got it in the mail today. So I'm going to show you completing my cleanup of the carburetor. All right, hold on. Okay, so this is part two, and I've gotten the carburetor kit in, cleaned and used carburetor cleaner and blew this lower part of the carburetor and got it all ready to go. I have taken the parts out of the parts cleaner, and I have went ahead and put those in water and blew those all off and got those all ready to go, along with the top of the carburetor. So we should be pretty much ready to go. So I think we can probably go to replacing some of these things that we know of, and I know these parts go in here, and let's see where the other one is. Now I've already cleaned these out and blew them out with air, so I know they're clean. And let's see. So this looks like, okay, so this is just a regular vent. And let's see if this one, okay, so this is the one that went down on the bottom here, in the bottom of the carburetor, and this is like a one-way check valve, so to speak. It allows fuel to pass into the fuel pump and or into these horns. The horns, of course, are these things right here, which squirts the fuel whenever you accelerate. It squirts the fuel down in the throats of the carburetor. We're gonna have to find the gaskets and stuff for those, and make sure we put those back in. And then these two pieces right here, they go in over here, and okay, those are pretty good. And I noticed they gave us new springs and needles for the idle adjustment, and I'm going to go ahead and use those and replace those. The other ones are the idle jets that go in on the here we go, there's one. So it goes together like this. Now this one goes in pretty easy, so I'm going to almost think that this one, yeah, pretty easy. Let's see, we've got one more, I think. Here. So this one slides in with a little bit of friction. This is probably more like what it's supposed to do. So it realizes that these go in here, one in here and one on the other side, but we have to put two O-rings in here to make sure it seals correctly. And I'm spreading out the pieces a little bit so it has a little bit more friction, and that's not too bad. Let's see if we can get it a little bit more. Be really careful, you don't want to break these, of course. Okay, so let's try that now. Oh yeah, that feels pretty good. All right, so let's check the other one. Yeah, since we have it right here, we're gonna go ahead and make sure that this one's the same way. And yeah, these feel pretty good now. So I'm going to go ahead and find the 2 new O-rings and get those ready to be in place, as long as the adjusting screws. And I'm going to put you on pause till I sort those all through. And I talking about the same. The screws that were used for the idle, and they're pretty close to the same. But you know what I did find, which was kind of unusual, is the horns. They had a screw and they had a washer, and there was a really thin washer that went over the screw. Whoops. It went over the screw. Then the horn went on. And then there was another washer, little copper washer, that went on the bottom. And then the horn went back on. Well, you know what was really strange? These little copper washers were not in the kit, which I thought was kind of unusual. But anyway, that goes to show you that's why you don't throw anything away. So I'm going to make sure that these copper washers are on here, and I'm going to reinstall the horns with them. Alright, let's snug that up a little bit. Okay. And let's see. Oh, we were going to put this little vent thing back in. Now here's something that you should probably own. It's used for putting screws back in a hole, and you can't touch it. So there, it's loaded back up. There's no washers or anything on it. And I'm going to put it down at the bottom of the carburetor, and I'm going to screw it in place. Then it's going to snap out of the way. Everybody should have one of those. So let's see. We'll do the needle and seat later. So let's do these idle jets. There's 2 of them. Remember, these were the ones that slid apart. Now, they should have an O-ring on them, a rubber O-ring. And these go in this hole right here, like yay. Let's go ahead and put the new valves, or the new valves in for, or the idle screws in. Now, what's also really curious is they gave you the O-rings, but they didn't give you these little here. I'm going to replace that. I'm going to put the pin, the needle, the spring, and a little cup washer with the O-ring. I'm going to put that on there, like so. And then I'm going to go ahead and screw that in. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to screw it in tight, seated, and then I'm going to come back out. There's half, 1, 1.5, and we're going to do this one. So the spring fits in here, and then it fits onto the cup back here, so that the little poke thing out, or the other side, the male part, can sit out here to hit the accelerator arm. Now, I'm not going to tell you this is easy. It's a little tricky, but it's not too bad. The best thing to do is to position the spring and get it in place, and then make sure that the accelerator pump is here in the right. Get one of your screws, make sure that the accelerator pump is lined up to that one screw, so that you can be sure that you're not rolling over the edges or something of the accelerator pump, because you don't want to do that. So, and I'm going to tell you, from practical purposes, I do this with all 4 of the accelerator pump holes, so that I know that the accelerator pump is going to seat flatly with the carburetor surface. So once you get these two in the top, these two in the bottom they're pretty straightforward. Okay, so I've got those pretty well snugged up. Now I'm going to tighten them. And if you don't get this on right, you could possibly have a leak. So now, this little adjustment here, this little adjustment nut, this is what corresponds the fluid that comes out of these horns, is this accelerator pump. Now, we can test that, but we have to have some gasoline in the float bowl, and then we also have to have a way of catching whatever is coming out of the horn to see if that's the right amount. Now, that's easier said than done. I mean, it's pretty hard to do, but the easiest thing to do is to make sure that there is something coming out of the horns. So I'm going to put you on hold a little bit, and I am going to go get some gasoline and pour in here to make sure the horns are accelerating some stuff out through them. I did run it through the fuel pump and through the fuel filter, and I'm going to pour some in the carburetor, and we're going to see if any of the oh yeah, that's good, that's good. All right, so I didn't know if you could see that, but the gasoline did shoot out of the horns very easily. So I'm going to I don't know if I don't really have anything. I think we'll just leave the gasoline just stay in there for right now. I don't think it'll hurt anything. The needle and seat, which we need to replace, and there's the old seat, which I think is a 10 millimeter. Okay, that was the old one. So here's the new seat, and you see there's a little clip on it. So what it does is it clips to the float like so. Hope you can see that. And then what you do is you put the needle and seat and pin in there as one unit, and then I'll pick up a little bit. There you go. So there is a dimension, and it's without the gasket, no gasket. So this needle and seat is pretty high. I think it's only supposed to be 10 millimeters. 1 millimeter, I'm sorry. Okay, so 1. Yeah, that's pretty high. Let's see, that side is inches and this side is millimeter, and I think it's only supposed to be 1 millimeter. So this needs to be adjusted for sure. I think. Okay, I'm going to put you on pause so I can see if I can get this out. Hold on. We're going to continue on now. So that I did adjust the float, and it's a little low, so I'm going to, if you can see, this arm right here is how you adjust it. So It looks like it needs to be bent a little bit. Okay, so let's see if we can, what we're looking for is 1 millimeter, and boy, we're really close. I think I'm going to adjust it just a little bit more. Okay. Okay, we're right there. So, and this also does have a measurement for this to make sure and I want to say I want to say it's 3.5 millimeters or something like that, and you would bend this little tab in the back so that it would open, but I think that it's probably pretty good that way. Like so. And then we're going to install this like so. And before we put the screws in, we're going to set these in here, and we're going to make sure they are okay. Okay, and pretty much that's pretty much it for cleaning out this carburetor. I am going to take the other one off and do the same, pretty much the same thing, clean it out and make sure everything is okay. And if I have to, I'll just order another overhaul kit for it. Maybe, maybe not. We'll know more once we get it apart. Now, I do want to point out one thing, and I'm a little disappointed, but I can't change that. So, I got a new fuel filter with this kit, and I was just looking at it, and I'm like, there's a little hole right here. So, I blew into that, and sure enough, air comes out that little hole. So this fuel filter would be no good to use because, hey, if I can get air out of it, fuel's going to come out of it for sure, especially when you have a pressurized system. But anyway, I think you can see the, you probably can't see it, but whenever I open the throttle up a little bit, there's a little bit of gas falls out. So that carburetor is all ready to go.